Fru Ndi in the earlier part of his life. We now introduced this law for education. We started way back in Nigeria. How did you nurture this law?
Education is a must for every child, for every man. And when you see how other educated people are moving and how other enlightened countries are getting on, I don't think you fold your hands and sit down. As they say that if it's daybreak and you still cover your head with a blanket to think that it's not yet daybreak, you're the one wasting your time. So it's because of that love of education, to educate people, that I had to open the Baby Book Center, which brought in quite a lot of books. And after the closure of the Baby Book Center, I don't think that we've ever had any other bookshop that could meet adequately with the needs of the people.
With this love for education in nurtured, there was this switch over into political life with the creation of the SDF some 25 years ago. We'd like to find out from you, Fru Ndi, how was this switch over to politics?
Well, the switch over came as a result of the challenges of the time. We saw that Cameroonians seemed to have been hypnotized, dumbfounded. They were suffering, crying, dying in the midst of plenty without making a statement. You could not talk. When a gendarme approaches you in those days, you just start begging for pardon, as I've said in many interviews. And I asked myself, why should we be begging? The gendarme, the police, the army is to protect me and the nation. But when they turn to be a force that is intimidating, killing, extorting, I did not see how that could. So the only way we could challenge all those was through a political party. Every fair-minded Cameroonian will agree that it was an operation suicide for any man to say, I wanted to challenge the status quo, the government in power in those days, politically. First, they had sealed everything to think that nobody could ever talk. There were no constitutional provisions to enable you to form a political party or anything. But we dug into the Constitution, the founding fathers, those that with whom we talked, we dug into it and found out that there was an opening. And we took advantage of that small opening and formed the SDF. And it's through that that you now see the flood of parties that have been formed, and everybody, there's somebody every day is calling me the president of what, it's formed this, the president of this. Everybody becomes president. So it was not a matter of somebody coming to be president, but to look for ways to liberate the country, for us to be able to live freely, fearlessly in our country, enjoying the God-given things.
We'll be coming back to the SDF very soon, Chairman. But what so many viewers watching us this morning will be interested to find out is they know very little about the family of Fru Ndi, most especially the children. Tell us a little bit about the family, the children.
Yeah, my children are all big. Out of 9, I think 8 are married. They're out. The one girl who's not married is in Atlanta. She just finished from medical school. And I have 12 grandchildren. And more are still on the line coming. I think there's much more between a child and a father than just property, money, and all that. That touch, that feel, which I gave my children. And I know how far we went. And more so, they give me already grandchildren. How should I again go be competing with them to be having children, so that my own children, that my grandchildren might be older than, will be calling those younger people uncles.
Well, you just mentioned of the fact that people are calling on you at 70 to look for a young lady. I remember in one interview you granted on Hello CRTV, that was to Mabi Azefo some 8 years ago, and you talked about this soft touch that John Fru Ndi has for women with gap tooth. Do you still maintain that soft touch?
No, 2 women with gap teeth disappointed me. And sometimes when they laugh at me with those open teeth, they frighten me. They make me feel that pain. So I just, anyway, that was the end of it, and I don't think that I was going to start trying again. The openings are given by God, it's not by man. So I wish them luck somewhere else.
Okay, John Fru Ndi, you're a Christian of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. You have a busy schedule as a father, as a grandfather, as a farmer, as a politician. Do you still have enough time for God?
If I am absent from my church, it means I am out of the country or somewhere that something has held me. But I go to church every Sunday. I attend all the churches around us, and attending these churches, that I'm a baptized Presbyterian. I attend the Catholic Church, I attend the Baptists, and once in a while I go to one of the full gospel churches. Now I entertain the Muslims, I go to the mosque, because I believe that if I were born a Muslim, from a Muslim family I would be a Muslim. If I were born in a Catholic family I would be a Catholic, or a Roman Catholic, or to a Baptist family I'll be a Baptist. When you are a Baptist Christian, it doesn't mean that you close the world around you. So I started this long before politics, because my children would testify that there were Sundays I would take them. I said, let's go to the Catholic church this morning. We'll go there, sit with the people, pray. Let's go to the Baptist church, we'll go sit with the people, pray. And that's the way I looked at life. But there are people who think that as long as I am a Roman Catholic, I cannot worship with any other person. I condemn that attitude.
Let me find out from you, 25 years down the lane, do you think the SDF has succeeded with its original objectives?
If I had my way to do it again, I would still do it. After all the hurdles and the hardihood that I've gone through, leading people for 25 years in the struggle. And today, when I look back onto 25 years, I look back onto these 25 years with joy, happiness, and great satisfaction. Satisfied that I've done my best, satisfied that I've not let the people down, satisfied that I've not betrayed, satisfied for so many things, for the love, the fellowship that I've had. And if you put everything together, I want to thank God Almighty and say, if the SDF were the thing that they say, Fru Ndi, this is another chance, can you redo it? I will do it the same way. And I want to thank the people who give me their support, their love, their concern and sacrifice, their time, money, lives. My late wife died serving, so all these people, I think of them fondly. There are young men around me who have lost parts of their bodies, those that have lost their lives, properties. I remember them fondly, and I appreciate all that they did. And if I held firmly, strongly to the cause, it's because I didn't want that the lives of those who are gone ahead were wasted. They died for something, and the struggle continues.
I want to believe there must have been some failures that 25 years after you've not been able to meet up with some of these objectives. What are some of the failures you can highlight talking about the SDF?
Well, there are the failures from the betrayalship of the people, because sometimes there are people you have absolute trust on and you think that this man is going ahead doing this honestly, only to think that the person is doing it with an ulterior motive to satisfy self. And if it were a matter of satisfying self, I think maybe I could have also jumped out and be trying to see what I can do to get something for myself. I left the Baby Book Center, and as I said before, maybe you are still too young then, but those who went through a Baby Book Center from the universities of Yaoundé, the medical school, the law schools, etc., the higher schools, knew the value of a Baby Book Center. And if I had to let that business, which I started from scratch to build, to where we finally parted, I think that it was a painful part, because I know how much I was attached to books. Till today, up to when my wife died, if I travel with her in Europe or in the United States, I could smell books. And as soon as I smell a bookshop, I tell her, "Ma, there's a bookshop around here." When I'm entering in, she'll start crying that I'll take all her money, buy books, I'll be carrying books, because I have a certain affinity towards books. So, for me to part it, that was painful. But for the sake of the people, for the love of the people, I had to leave it up.
25 years after that, John Fru Ndi, chairman of the Social Democratic Front, is a dictator.
Well, that's what they believe in. But if one person is standing to say that, that's the person's opinion. Because if Fru Ndi were a dictator, I think 25 years after, I will not have the turnout I had. I will not have the companionship and the type of people I had turning out to celebrate the 25 years with joy, happiness, and if you pick somebody from a shop selling coffins and you make such a person a parliamentarian, that parliamentarian is not attending National Executive Committee meetings. That parliamentarian is not contributing towards the celebration of the 25 years of the party, but is instead telling you that Fru Ndi should go. Then you see the other side of Jezebel.
Yeah, so if most of them are coming up with these claims, it's because they believe or they say that John Fru Ndi clamors for change in the country, but ever since the party was born some 25 years ago, it still sticks on to power at the helm of the Social Democratic Front.
John Fru Ndi is not stuck to power. John Fru Ndi subjected himself to elections, free, fair, transparent elections. Even going in as presidential candidate or national chairmanship of the party. Like at the fundraising for the Boko Haram, there's a gentleman who brought 2,000 as his own contribution. And this is a man who is making noise every now and then that he wants to be the presidential candidate for the SDF. And you cannot afford 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 out of your pocket. So, and when these people make noise, you, the journalists, are there, oh, there's a presidential candidate challenging for the president. Have you taken time to look at the character of the person? Or in the country today, I see people that they pass by for presidential candidates, they are given money to go out campaign. They are staying in their father's compound. They are not married. They are not working. They have no responsibility. So you see that the presidential thing in Cameroon becomes a big joke. I remember in my childhood days, you grew in the compound with your mother, with your father. For them to know that you are becoming a man, you put an attachment to your mother's house and you are now sleeping in there. And in some place later on, you build your own house towards the entrance of the compound to show that you are now a man. But these are people who have no homes at all. My present compound, I started building it when I was 25. But I have people who are 40, 50, 60, criticizing me that, oh, Fru Ndi, you are still holding net meetings in your compound, and they themselves don't have compounds. They're living in rented houses and not paying the rent even. But they're quick to come point a finger at you. Why are you still holding net meetings in your compound? If I can hold them anywhere to save money, I will. Because I remember a late friend, may his soul rest in peace, said, oh, the party has monies now, they should go hire rooms in hotels and have meetings in hotels. I said, yes, if you have the money, go hire the rooms, I'll be there. But I believe in saving monies. I believe that when the due time will come, the SDF will be in its own premises.
Major Fru Ndi, you recently received an award from an American non-governmental organization with regards to the contribution promotion of democracy and peace in Cameroon. Tell us, what does such an award mean to you?
Well, as I said before, I was embarrassed. I was taken aback. I was taken unaware because I never knew that of all people, an American organization was going to look at me to say that you deserve an award for peace in your country. Whereas the Cameroon government for 25 years has never given me a medal. And when you see some criminals to whom they give medals, you ask yourself, what is behind a medal that they give to this type of people? And we don't have. And I told my governor, I said, Mr. Governor, if I die tomorrow, you will bring a big medal to put on my coffin. That Fru Ndi did this, Fru Ndi did this. Why don't you cry Fru Ndi when it's alive? And let the world know that you appreciate what Fru Ndi has done. You wait until an American organization points that out, recognizes it before you think that you can, start talking about this thing. I was highly humbled, and I appreciate what the organization did, and I thank them very sincerely. And with the scamming in the world, I left here thinking that it was maybe a scamming group. But when I got to the United States, that I discovered that they were a serious set of people, recognized, appreciated, and accepted by the American government.
Mr. Chairman, morning. How are you? I am happy to meet you today.
Let's now talk about this famous meeting between Major Fru Ndi and President Paul Biya 2010 here in Bamenda. Tell us, how did it come about, this famous meeting? It was like breaking news in Cameroon, Major Fru Ndi finally meeting President Paul Biya.
Well, truly was breaking news. Because if you imagine that for over 20-something years, then we had never met. I want to thank the governor who initiated that and the press until we met. I don't know the other backgrounds, but it happened during the tenure of a certain governor in the Northwest. And I want to thank him and also thank Mr. Biya that he had to postpone his trip to Yaoundé for us to meet. And when we met, it was headline news, as you rightly said. People were happy, people were joyous that at last we've met. Talking together might help us advance the country forward. But the unfortunate thing is that Mr. Biya told me, before we parted, Chairman, we'll meet again, we'll talk. But I invite you for the 50th anniversary in Yaoundé and also for the Agric Show. I told him that I'll be coming to the Agric Show as a farmer, as a rancher. And that's precisely what I did. And people saw me come. I didn't, and for the 50th anniversary, I came to Yaoundé. First, they started sending me through a scan. I am not a security risk in Cameroon. I am not. and I should not be ridiculed. So I protested and told him that I was going through the scanner for the first and the last time. And from then up to today, I've kept to that.
We are slowly but surely moving towards the end of this interview, Ndi John Fru Ndi. Without one of the one but last question, at the beginning of this interview, not once, not twice, but 3 times, you made mention of the name of your late wife, Rose. How important was she to Ndi John Fru Ndi?
She was a wonderful woman, a very, very, very important partner. And to think that she's not beside me gives me all that pain. And I just pray that she had done her own job and God said, look, Rose here, enough and no more. And I bow down to my Lord's calling. I know that one day my own destiny will be okay, and I also go. All of us shall go. Nobody's come here forever. But I think I appreciate and enjoyed everything she did to give me her company, more so for the wonderful children that she gave me. And wherever when she was with me at a rally, at times as I'm talking, I'll forget certain things. She would just write on a small piece of paper and say, if not mentioned, not mentioned. And I inject those in, you see the rally has quite a different thing. So I miss her company a lot, but I appreciate everything that she had done, and I bow down to God's decision.
Finally, Ndi John Fru Ndi, one question that viewers will be interested to find out from Ndi John Fru Ndi. For the past 25 years, they've known him in the political arena. Each time he grants interviews, he's always very, very reluctant to utter a word in French in a bilingual country.
But no document has ever left my office without a translation, either English to French or French to English. When we talk of bilingualism, is that if I put this sign, this is the English version, the French version, it helps the children, the younger people to learn. But when they don't learn, so what do? And if you are only insisting Fru Ndi should talk, go to Yaoundé, to the ministries. How many ministries have the inscriptions into the 2 languages in their offices? How many? So is the bilingualism that Fru Ndi, who wants to be whatever, must speak French? I think the French is, we practice it, and not what you see to say that I speak French. I've gone to Sorbonne, I can talk French well, and so. No, sir. It's what you have in your mind for the people, and not how much English and how much French you talk. Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you as a main guest on Ndi John Fru Ndi. 8 years when we last had you. Thank you so very much for accepting to receive us in one of your many farms here in the northwest region of Cameroon.
Thank you for coming once again after 8 years. I thought that I'd been missing in the Park of Cats, and
not at all, not at all.
Never to be seen again, but that you came today. I'm sure you enjoyed your glass of milk.
I did.
First, because we were fire about a car will not even get place where you hang with the hang for corner. Then a lawyer, a guest store, nurse, a lead doctor, not patient where you cure him, hospital, not cure him. You can't also then we.
God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way. He will make a way.
Democratic from Ndi John Fru Ndi in that very beautiful interview that kept all of us spellbound. You're like, you want to listen, you want to get the answers he gives to some of these triggering questions that Baldwin Sama put to him. Baldwin, how was the trip to Wom?
It wasn't an easy trip to Wom. Very, very tiring, because you had to travel for several hours to get to Wom, and from Wom town itself, and before you get to Ndi John Fru Ndi's house there in Wom, it wasn't so easy. But I was happy I met the chairman, and we had the interview.
And the 74-year-old Ndi John Fru Ndi, we saw him walking around the hectares of... Didn't you get tired at one moment?
I say I admire John Fru Ndi a lot. At 74, I say what I discovered in womb, several hectares of farm, pawpaw, mangoes, guava, west cattle, cow. I mean, over 600 hectares of land. And John Fru Ndi, mind you, will take me around and he will tell you that this particular tree, I planted this tree on this day in 1996 and it was given to me by late Njalakwan. He tells you everything, he knows everything. And we trekked for about 2 hours. After 30 minutes trekking, I was tired. And John Fru Ndi looked at me and laughed. I said, look at this young man. He was, at 74, he's still very strong. And
he didn't give you some of these secrets of his, this tenacity, the way he moves around, not being tired, because
John Fru Ndi says he lives young. Each time he gets into the political life, in order for him to, like recently the SDF celebrated their silver jubilee, and he needs some time to rest. And for him to rest, he retires, he goes back to one of his farms in the villages and spends some time there. He gives himself enough time for him to rest, and that's one of the reasons that make him to be strong.
Okay, Baldwin, and was there any striking thing about John Fru Ndi that you brought back?
John Fru Ndi still believes that he has achieved ever since the party was born some 25 years ago, and still strongly believes that there is still much to be done with regards to the SDF in Cameroon.
Oh, thank you very much, Baldwin, for making the trip all the way to Womb to bring back these beautiful images of that interview we had today.
It was my pleasure.
Okay, we take a few reactions before we go to the newsroom. Tabe Besem says, I would identify Mr. Right when he comes in his tight armor and a white horse. He will ride on it and celebrate the wealth he has acquired for us. That is houses in New York and, of course, holidays in Abu Dhabi. And he says Abu Dhabi from Chad. I say hello to Baldwin and Amos. Tongele Abongo says, hello to the crew. I'm not married, but I'm almost convinced that when I meet my would-be wife for the first time, both of us will confess our hearts are beating so hard. And this is what I will say to her. So it is you that was made from my bone. And that was how we saw the first part of Hello this Tuesday morning, the 16th of June 2015. We are taking you for a short publicity break. And then later on we go to the newsroom. And when we come back, we have so much more coming your way just for your own enjoyment. Good morning.